Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. Today I am sharing a lovely Strawberry Rhubarb Danish. Sweet fruit filling with cream cheese, all nestled within flaky puff pastry. Now I use the term Danish loosely here because we are using pre-made puff pastry dough today. But that's what makes this recipe easy and manageable for everyone. We're going to start by dicing our fruit into small bite-sized pieces. I happen to have my own rhubarb plant, but if you don't have a rhubarb plant of your own, I'm certain you can find fresh rhubarb at many farmers markets. And don't worry if your rhubarb is a little bit green going up the stem. It is still great to use. And we're going to be using equal parts of strawberry and rhubarb. And don't worry, I will have all the ingredients and recipe included in the description for you. In a medium sauce pot, you're going to combine your fruit with some granulated sugar and heat over medium. Once the fruit starts to release its moisture, it will dissolve the sugar and turn the mixture nice and jammy. And you'll want to cook this mixture for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. And while the mixture was cooking, I whisked together a little bit of cornstarch and cold water, and we're going to add that to our fruit. Stir until combined. And you'll want to make sure you let that come to a full boil. That way you know it has reached its maximum thickness. Now we're going to let the mixture cool until about room temperature or until you can keep your hand on the bottom of the pot. And while your fruit mixture is cooling, it's the perfect time to mix together a little bit of cream cheese and powdered sugar and simply mix until smooth. Add just a splash of vanilla and your filling is ready to go. Now pre-made puff pastry is one of my favorite products to have around because it's so versatile and easy to use. And for this recipe, it's very important to work with your puff pastry on the parchment that you're going to use for your tray. And the reason for this is because it's easier to move. So now I want to simply roll this out to about a 12 by 12. Now we want to cut some fingers into our puff pastry and just cut lightly because you actually don't want to go through the parchment paper. And I'm making them about 4 inches long and 1 inch wide. And we're going to do the same on the other side, leaving about a 4 to 5 inch space in the middle that is not cut. Now that that's ready to go, we're going to put it back on our baking tray. And now we're ready to fill it. Alright, we're going to take our cream cheese mixture and spread it in the center. And I would leave about a 1/4 inch at the end so we can seal up the puff pastry. Now that our fruit filling is nicely chilled, I'm going to go ahead and add a splash of vanilla. You can add this really at any time that you take it off of the heat, but I had forgotten earlier, so I'm going to do it now. And we're ready to finish the assembly of our Danish. And we're going to simply top the cream cheese with the fruit filling. It's such a perfect early summer treat with that fresh rhubarb. Now we're simply going to fold the fingers alternately over our filling like so. Doesn't have to be perfect. And the odd little bit of spacing is perfectly fine too. It allows the steam to escape a little bit. And this finger just is getting in the way, so I'm going to take them off completely. And if you have any ends that are sort of hanging out, you can just simply tuck them under. Give the ends a little bit of a pinch. Now I have a room temperature egg mixed with a splash of milk. Just going to give that a light whisk. And a room temperature egg is just a little bit looser than a cold egg, so it whisks up a little nicer. We're going to go ahead and liberally brush our pastry. It really helps to create a golden crust. We're going to put this in a preheated 425-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. Now here's our Danish straight out of the oven, and look at how golden and wonderful that looks. Now, unfortunately, you have to wait until this Danish cools before cutting into it. If we cut into it now, the hot filling will simply just gush out everywhere. So we have to let it rest and cool until just warm or room temperature. I like to transfer the Danish to a cooling rack. That way air gets underneath the bottom. And once it's on the cooling rack, simply slide the paper out from underneath. Now while the Danish is cooling, it's a good time to stir together a little bit of sweet glaze for the top. So I have some powdered sugar here. I'm going to add just a splash of vanilla and a little bit of milk. And it doesn't take much milk to soften the sugar. And just whisk until smooth. We'll add just a splash more. And there, I think we have it. A nice drizzling consistency. And now that our Danish is cool, we're going to go ahead and finish it off with a little bit of glaze. And I like to cut the Danish into slices that are about 1.5 inches wide. I'm just going to trim the end slightly. And you can just hear that flaky pastry. So let's go ahead and have a look at our delicious pastry. Nice fruit filling with a cream cheese layer. So nice. Thank you everyone for watching today. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you never miss a recipe. We'll see you again.